I was excited for last week's podcast when I saw.
Oh, you were?
Yep, the thumbnail. Saw my face up there. I was a buff guy for a change, and then I realised he put me up as a bad guy. Finally get to be a buff guy, but he's evil.
Well, I mean, apparently, according to the internet, most people who watch The Boys don't know that Homelander is evil, even though in the first season he murders many people, including an entire plane full of people, and then his own mentor.
What are you guys talking about?
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
Because I was talking to someone at work about it this week, and isn't it like there's the superheroes and then there's the bad guys, but they're both just bad? They're just perceived differently?
There aren't really superheroes.
Yeah.
And there aren't really bad guys either.
No, everyone's just a fuckwit.
Yeah. Well, when I say superheroes, I'd like to have powers. I mean.
No, everyone with powers is a dickhead.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not calling them heroes. They're just they're people with powers.
Like
who
the
are
good guys
dicks.
are normal people who are also fuckwits.
Yeah, I was about to say, but they're not good.
No.
They're fighting the evil people, but they're not good. They're not good people.
They are stooping.
So last week, we're talking about The Boys. Season 4 is on right now. It reminded me that I hadn't seen past season 1, so I watched a recap of season 1 and then I started on season 2. Fuck me, I'd forgotten how good this show is. It is good. It's very good. And I think I said last week that what I didn't like about it was that I felt it was trying too hard to shock me.
Yep.
But I can confirm now it's shocked me. It has repeatedly shocked me. So in season 1, there's no spoilers, but in season 1, a dolphin gets hurt, right?
Yes.
And I guess the writers were like, how do we up the ante for season 2?
The whale.
They crash a speedboat into a whale.
Yeah.
And then one of the main guys is sitting inside the whale, covered in whale guts, just going, is this my fucking life? Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
My favourite thing that's happened so far, and I'm not quite at the end yet, but my favourite thing that's happened is Luke, you haven't seen it, right?
No.
So there's a
spoilers
company.
Don't bother me, as we all know.
No, it's no spoilers. It's just the setup is that the superheroes work for a company that promotes superheroes. It's like an agency, like a talent agency, but they don't just do superheroing. They also do soda sponsorships, corporate events, and movies about themselves where they act as themselves. And so you see them making these fake movies where they play fake versions of themselves. It's very funny. But at one point they're doing this. It's the Avengers, clearly, right? And at one point, what seems like a throwaway line, Homelander goes, wow, getting Joss to do a rewrite of this was the best idea ever, right? But then, in the next scene, Greg Grundberg, is that his name? The guy who's in all of Joss Whedon's shows and movies is in the movie, and they don't mention it. Oh, Joss must have... But it's just... The details are so funny.
Yeah.
Very good.
Matt, you're watching season 4, and evidently... Can you tell us, are you liking it? Because evidently people are not.
I have been liking it. I do know... I mean, some of the complaints I get...
I know they've introduced some new characters that weren't in the comics and things.
Oh, I haven't read the comics, so that doesn't bother me.
They've already done that. There's already characters that are very different from the comics.
Well, they gender swapped a couple of them, didn't they?
Oh, have they?
I'm turning it off then. I'm fucking turning it off.
Don't know. Also, I don't care if they do that.
Yeah, you know who they gender swapped? Starbuck. And you know what? She was the best fucking character in BSG, so fuck you, anyone who says otherwise.
Who did they
Why are you attacking me? I agree she was great.
I'm talking to our listeners, our ungrateful listeners.
Do you know who they gender swapped? I'm just curious.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Because there aren't that many female characters I don't think would have worked not as female characters. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not... I guess
I tell you, I haven't seen much criticism of season 4 because anytime I see the boys online at the moment, I'm tuning out because I don't want spoilers for season 2
sure.
and subsequently
Is
season
season
3.
2
But there's one thing that I
Stormfront?
know. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is. There's one thing I know that people are very, very angry about in season 4, and that's that one of the actresses isn't as pretty as she was in season 1.
Yeah.
They're fucking furious.
Well,
they are furious.
It's weird, right? Because, first of all, regardless of what happened, it's none of your fucking business. But it's... So Erin Moriarty, who plays Starlight, in the photos that they use as examples, does look quite different. And they say she's had so much plastic surgery, I can't jerk off to this anymore.
Yeah.
And she...
I mean, I am. I am.
I love a challenge.
But I'm angry about it.
Yeah.
I'm using my tears as lubricant.
She insists she hasn't. I mean, I don't give a shit, right? Who cares?
Mate, women age. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but they
it's
do.
true.
It
And a
happens.
lot of them lose weight as they age and their faces change. If you look at Jennifer Connelly, age 20, and you look at her age 45, she looks different. You know, she's got gaunt cheeks now when she used to be all plump and cute.
I just want to say, to the
it's
people
none
out
of your
there
business.
who are complaining about it, maybe look in the mirror.
But the other thing about season 4, you know, MM, right? The character MM,
Mother's Milk
correct.
is my favourite character.
I
Don't
was
say anything bad about him.
confused when season 4 started. This is not in any way a spoiler. I was very
It's fine if it
confused
is.
at the start of season 4 because I thought, at first I thought, oh, they recast him. And then I got confused because I couldn't remember exactly what had happened at the end of season 3. And I was like, oh, no, wait, no, is this a different character? No, the guy just lost a lot of weight, which is odd because he wasn't like fat or overweight or anything before. But
I think he's very buff, but I think he's
Yeah.
one of those dudes that's got just as much body fat as muscle. Like he's like a
Yeah.
linebacker.
I
So
guess I
you
wouldn't have-
could starve yourself and then get really
just really caught me by
ripped,
surprise.
I guess.
And he shaved. And he just
Right.
he does,
And he just
apparently
looks different.
It's confused everybody. He looks like a different human being. It's very, very unusual. I mean,
Don't worry, listeners, I will not lose weight and confuse you.
or shave his beard.
Or shave my beard. Unless it's for a very good cause.
but yeah, so they're mad about those two things, which are stupid reasons to be mad. There's one complaint that I'm like, well, that's kind of a thing in the show, is that why does everybody who's kind of a bad guy have to turn out to be some kind of sexual deviant and get caught doing something fucking
Right.
outrageously sexual? And I'm like, well, that's kind of a thing in the show now.
And life as well.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, these are Hollywood celebrities, and that's kind of what they do,
Sure.
right?
So that I get, because there's an outrageous thing that happens, and it's
Sure.
like yeah.
Yeah.
That-
I mean,
the
so
show-
far in every season, there's been an outrageous thing that's happened.
That's what I mean. It's not like this is, and then everyone's like, well, why do they have to keep doing that? It's because that's what the fucking show.
Oh, fucking turn it off if you don't like it, mate.
Yeah. Well, they are. And the other thing is, and I'm
No, they're
gonna
not.
say
That's the
anything,
thing. They're still watching it.
There is a homosexual kiss
Oh.
that I saw somebody post.
It's pronounced
I thought this was a
homoxual.
joke, but apparently it's not a joke. Because, I mean, I guess I've watched shows that where by boys kiss and I don't care, right? I don't understand why.
It's not like that's a recent thing. Like, what's the...
A boy kissing a
I mean,
boy?
yeah, when I was very young in Penrith, I would have
Sure.
gone, "Ooh," but
You're
like
gay!
it didn't bother me. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
I
We
wanted
called
to
them
say one
gay,
thing.
and then they went, yeah, we are gay. And we went,
oh yeah,
oh,
all right.
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
I did like that when you did say that there was the kiss, and your camera just started to zoom in on you for a little bit, like dramatic effect.
It knows. But people are. I thought it was a joke, but apparently it was not a joke. People were being dead serious. I saw a tweet that had a screen cap of the two guys kissing, and it said, "This show has become unwatchable." I was like, "Fucking hell, get over it."
Is it characters who are already in the show, or is it new characters? Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, yeah, perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable.
So this is the
also,
problem.
who gives a shit?
Yeah, I know.
And see, here's
There's
the
been
thing.
there's been a lot of unconsensual sex in the show, right?
Yeah.
So finally, two
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
consenting adults decide to embrace, and you're like, wrong gender. One of them, they've both got dicks, so no.
See, this is the problem, is people think they're just trying to force it in, force new gender down the throat, whereas if you just say, it doesn't matter anymore, then it's fine. Like, it's just got to, it's just, people are just...
I just don't understand. There's literally, I told you about a scenario that occurs in, I think, season 3 of this show, between two men, right? That was fine.
You mean the dick incident?
Why is that okay, but you can't watch two guys...
Because that's funny, Matt.
Seems like a fair bit, I just don't understand.
Look, and I guarantee a lot of people who complain about the two men kissing, if it was two women, be fine.
That's what makes me think these people aren't serious.
Mate, there's been a same-sex female couple since season 1.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Nobody noticed it.
Yeah.
No, but I think that, Matt, where you're saying, like, that makes you think that it's not sort of... They are serious, because two girls is fine, two men is bad.
Yeah, maybe.
In their mind, that's how it works. Because
No, but there's been two men in the show before. Like, this is not a show that... This show has that
amusing.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we were making fun of them queers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's going to be a soundbite. Hey, speaking of sound bites, I want to just segue for a really quick second. You know how we always talk about how we see headlines that says, Sam Neill wants to be in Star Wars. And we always go, does he? Or did some interviewer just say, would you ever be in a Star Wars? And he's like, well, I mean, I've never thought about it, but sure, if they ask me. And they're like, Sam Neill wants to be in Star Wars. I saw a great shutdown of that. And I only watched this clip because I don't want you guys to think I just sit here watching The View, right? But I was watching The View.
I know you love Whoopi Goldberg.
Matthew, fucking disgusting human. Matthew McConaughey, who I like very much, was on. Mm-hmm. And he was on because he's promoting this charity that he's set up because he wants to basically make sure no kids can touch a gun in Texas, specifically where he's from.
Oh,
right?
Interesting. Okay.
Too much gun violence in Texas.
Sure.
Kids have way too much chances to grab a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's on there talking about that. And he's being very serious, right? He's not trying to be charming. He's just saying fucking gun violence, school shootings, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
And then one of the women on the panel goes, I bet you'd be up against some hard politics in Texas being anti-gun. He's like, well, I'm not anti-gun, but yes, you are right, you know. And she's like, any chance you might run for Congress? And he goes, he just snaps, he turns around, he goes, I know what you're doing. You're trying to get a soundbite of me saying, yes, I might run for Congress. And then you're going to use that and say that I brought it up. And I'm not playing that game, so I'm ignoring your question. And I was like...
Because that's also...
Yeah.
That to me sounds like also like, yeah, I am going to, but you're not going to be the one
Maybe. Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to fucking give you the scoop.
Yeah.
It's like that clip of fucking, what's his name? Is it Nick Nolte?
Oh, fuck, I hope so. I hope we've got some Nick Nolte news.
Why can't I remember if this is the right man? Nick Nolte. Yeah, Nick Nolte. No, it's not. Who am I thinking
I didn't think it would be.
You're thinking of Gary Busey?
I'm thinking of Gary Busey.
It's so weird. I always mistake those two as well, and they're nothing like.
On the red carpet, where it's like the inverse of that, where someone just goes, "Oh, what are you working on?" He's like, "Nice try, you fucking asshole."
Yeah,
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not employed.
You want to take the thoughts that are in my head and put them on a billboard.
Yeah, but there's like a little pause where he almost is about to answer, and he's like, "Oh, you almost got me."
But I can see what they're not the same, but they are.
I mistake them all the time. I mean, anytime either of them come up, which is not often.
Yeah.
I've offended both of them on multiple
I
occasions.
still think Gary Busey,
Nick.
I don't want to meet him. I've heard he's a horrible man, right? But his character in Predator 2 is fucking great.
I mean, he's good in a lot of stuff, including that video about hobbits that he made, which is very funny.
I don't remember that. I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Does he do anything now, though?
I don't. He's very old now.
Nice.
His son's in stuff.
Yeah, Jake Busey.
Did you ever see that song that what's that guy Thomas F. Wilson who plays Biff in Back to the Future? He's got a song to answer all your questions about Back to the Future that he constantly gets asked. So he's like, here is the answer to all the questions. No, I didn't do this. Yes, I did do this. And it's very, very funny, right?
Oh, cool.
But he's like, what's Christopher Lloyd like? Kind of quiet. What's Michael J. Fox like? Pretty nice. Like, it's just all of his answers, right?
Yeah.
But then one of them is just a throwaway. It's just like, who's the biggest asshole in Hollywood? Gary Busey. Like, he name checks him.
Wow.
Love
To this
it.
day. The other thing about season 4 that you alluded to earlier is that they apparently were I think this is blown a bit out of proportion. They're saying people are confused about the fact that Homelander was a villain. I don't think that's possible. That seems very unlikely to me. But I have seen people complain that the politics is more overt this season.
Oh,
Which
okay.
again, I feel like it was pretty straightforwardly making fun of right-wing fascists.
Is it maybe just because
whole
it's
time.
coming up to
He
an
has
election
the
again?
American flag as a cape.
That's what I mean. I feel like it's always been a...
And there's
like
a bit in
that.
season 2
Like, maybe
where
it
he
just
goes
hits
to the
a little
Middle
close
East
to home this time.
Yeah.
and he murders this dude in front of, like, his family, this Middle Eastern dude, and someone films it on their phone, and he's like, how was I meant to know someone in the Middle East had a fucking cell phone? Like, he's a fucking fascist.
Anthony
Without-
Starr, the guy who plays Homelander, he's a Kiwi, right?
Yeah,
And he is
he's amazing.
nothing like that character.
No.
Like you watch
And
interviews and stuff
Kiwi,
like that.
nice.
So
Nicest people
the
on
two
earth.
leads are both Kiwis,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the other guy
That's
is
true.
doing the worst Cockney accent I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Right? And he's a great actor, and I love
Carl
watching
Urban.
his performance, but he doesn't do a good. But if you didn't know, you would not know that Homelander is not American.
No.
He's so good.
And also, again, his performance, it's like you're just watching a different person. You watch, like, Anthony Starr, he was on, like, a Hot Ones thing with, Chase, whatever, the guy who plays the Deep, who's my favorite character, the Deep.
He's fucking great.
So funny.
The only
I used
thing
to watch
can
him in
think
this
of-
show called he was in this New Zealand comedy show. Can't remember the name.
But he just, like I said, you watch him in an interview and then you look at Homelander and you're like, that's not the same guy. Like,
But that's a good actor.
That's an actor.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's an
watching an
actor.
actor.
Apart from the people where you go, Will Smith, it's just Will Smith in a movie.
Yeah, or like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Like, he's just in that movie as
But-
himself.
I'm
But I think
currently
they could-
halfway through Ethan Hawke's novel, a fictitious book that he wrote about a disgraced actor trying to get a comeback after losing his celebrity wife and being estranged from his kids. And I'm like, okay, so write what you know.
Yep.
I've got some
look,
news about writers. Or games
the only
about
thing I
writers.
think with the people thinking it's about getting too political now is I think it is right. It's hitting too close to home now with the elections coming up. People I think are starting to
And there's a character
put
in this
together
season
more.
who is based on, based on. I think I saw someone say Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's like a politician, but this is more of like an influencer. She's like character's like a right wing influencer, and I think there's just so much of that going on these days. Maybe
Right.
people are relating to it more
Yeah.
than maybe they used to, and it's annoying them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's always been like that.
But then, art always imitates life. But I think people are just now starting to realise that it's because people are
Yeah.
stupid.
I don't.
But
believe
here's the
anybody
thing that I don't get
honestly
about
thought
the right.
Homelander was not was a good guy. It's
I-
not possible. That
I
you thought
struggle with that.
What about the final episode of season 1 where he's holding that woman's head and then just burns her face off with his laser vision?
that. Yeah. There were some redeeming moments. You're right.
Yep.
But,
But then, fucking, close your ears, Luke, if you don't want to hear. What he fucking... He gets this shape-shifting superhero to make himself look like her so that he can have sex with her. But occasionally, it goes away and it just becomes this fat, bald man again. And he's like, change back! It's very funny.
great show.
Here's what
And
I don't get
people were
about
okay with that.
right-wing people, right? Yeah, fucking dude.
Yeah, that's what
And
I mean.
that-
It's just I don't understand.
I get if you are right wing because you're a fascist. I actually understand that because sometimes I look at people and I'm like, you are so fucking stupid. You cannot be trusted to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
You need fascism to put you in your place and tell you what is and isn't okay to do. I'm not saying that's what I think.
You
I'm just
understand
saying
it, you don't agree
I
with it.
understand that point of view. In the same way that I understand the far left point of view of we should all be fucking throwing flowers at each other and everyone get the same. Like, I understand that too. I don't think that works either, right? I don't think either works, but whatever. But what I don't get and I don't understand is when the right became, like, paranoid about, like, Bigfoot and shit. Like, when did that get associated with one another? Like, you can't just be a fascist now. You have to be a fascist and believe that Bigfoot is real. There's your fucking soundbite.
I think it's something. I mean, maybe this is just a coincidence, but has it got something to do with, like, the Joe Rogan experience, where he'll have anybody on and he will take them as seriously as they want to be taken.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
but that's his gift. And I've actually had to stop watching Joe Rogan, mostly because he manages to put anti-vax now into every conversation he has, and I just don't want to hear it. But I was a big fan of Joe Rogan.
Now. Like, he used to be... I feel like he had controversial people on in an interesting way, but he doesn't now. He just has them on in a...
Yeah, it's like he bought into it.
Yeah, well, is it the thing where he was sort of going, I'm going to bring these people on and just give them, listen to them and interact, and now... Because he's listened to it so much, it's now bled into his life.
Maybe.
He doesn't confront them on anything anymore. And then he actually backs them against people I consider to be a lot more rational. Like, you have these debates now, and it's like he's like on the side of the...
Yeah. It's like the...
He's not a moderator anymore. Or whatever.
The one with your mate, Matt, season 2 on Netflix, Graham Hancock, where... Yeah. He had who did he have?
Flint
Dibble. Who did he have on? Yes, and he's like, and Hancock's making
Flint
some
Dibble,
crazy,
a fucking professional archaeologist.
Yeah, Hancock who's just in broadcasting. That's his job, right?
He's
makes
a
some
smart
crazy.
guy,
Makes some crazy comment about fucking aliens and pyramids and stuff, and the other guy goes, "Well, there's no, we've got." Archaeology from this, and he's like, "Can you prove it?" It's like, but you didn't ask him to prove his crazy statement.
Yeah.
Is it maybe just a case of he knows this works because you're going to get the people who believe in it will watch, and the people who are this is stupid and
that's what they
angry.
It's giving him a lot of credit. It's giving a lot of credit, saying that that's his plan.
What they call it audience capture, where you get caught up in something and then you have to keep doing it because. Your audience. That's what your audience. So that's one of the theories about. Because I remember. I always thought he was weird, but what's his name? Brett Weinstein.
Oh yeah.
He was. I feel like he used to be a lot more reasonable, and now all he talks about is anti-vax.
He's just fucking.
But but not only that, now he's into anything that's like weird and counter to.
No, but they all do that. Jordan Peterson's now an anti-vaxxer.
No, I know he's gone hard too.
But he's also someone that when he first came on the scene...
I'm sure he goes hard a lot. Thinking
well,
about
I don't know, mate. I don't know. He doesn't drink and he's very, No, but when he first came out, I'm like, well, I agree with some of the stuff he says. Now I literally, I don't agree with a single thing you say, and I don't want to be associated with you.
A lot of these conspiracy theories are a gateway to going further. Because if they're lying about this, they're lying about everything.
What else are they lying about?
And it's like I said, once you've built up an audience, right? Like, he used to be a professor. He's not anymore. In fact, Jordan Peterson in particular is in a lot of trouble. He might be getting his license taken away, right? So he's not going to be able to practice anymore as a psychologist or whatever.
Well, he got his professorship. He got his professorship revoked immediately.
So his career now is whatever this is, and so
you got to lean
the
into
audience
that.
capture thing means that, like, he's got to give them what they want, otherwise he's fucked.
He just talks to bros now. That's what he does.
Like, you follow the money, basically, kind of.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that's what Joe Rogan's doing.
You can't go back to being a professor.
And also,
is Prashesha the name of this episode?
Yeah, I think so. Somebody write it down. You also can't be too centrist as well, because then you lose. You've got to hone. Yeah. You've got to go extreme, or no one.
The way the world works is you need to be a combination of everything in the middle, but that's not interesting.
Yeah.
The extremes are what everyone talks about.
Oh, Matt, you'll appreciate this. There's I've got this little golden book, right, for Harper about Super Mario, right?
Okay.
And it's very cool, and she loves it because she loves
Is that
Mario.
one of the gold spine books?
Yeah. I got a bunch of them, and I got a bunch of Spielberg adaptations. I got Jaws, Big Shark, Little Boat, and and I got E.T. and Jurassic Park, and then I got this Mario one. But there's this bit where it's listing. It's basically just a hint book for how to play the game. It's like this power up will give you this enemy does this, but that on the enemies page it lists the Goombas and the Super Troopers and all this stuff, and then down the bottom it says and other enemies. But I can't not read it in Sam Harris's voice going and other enemies. Just like he goes, and other topics at the end of every list of topics, and other enemies. Every time.
I did ask Harper now want to play Super Mario.
Oh, she plays it all the time.
But she want to listen to Sam Harris.
That's right. She does not want to listen
Almost
to Sam Harris.
certainly not.
No, she loves...
That's a middle-aged man.
Harper has never seen a video game made after 1995. She
Excellent.
has only ever seen, because I play them when she's in bed, but if she's up, I'm usually on my Retroid, because I don't mind her grabbing it off me and playing it. But she'll ask for it now. She'll be like, "Can I play games?"
Is she any good yet?
She's better than she was. Her two favorites are Mario and Link, Legend of Zelda.
Get
she loves
Sonic
those.
out. Sonic's just run and jump.
Sonic makes no sense though. Like,
love Sonic.
Fucking go as fast as you can. What am I passing by? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just keep
Sonic
going.
is very frantic in a way that I didn't feel like it was when I was young. And is it maybe because I'm old now? I can't.
I think the way they marketed it when it was young is, you like Mario? Well, this is Sega's Mario, and it goes faster than Mario. And you're like, I'm in. I'm 10 years old and I'm in.
I want to get a Sonic tattoo, except the fandom for Sonic has gone a bit weird.
Has it? I'm not really aware of the Sonic fandom, to be honest.
Pregnant Sonics and it's
I think that's the fandom for everything.
Yeah.
Pregnant?
Probably.
Oh,
Look up Pregnant Sonic.
So I'm going to, but I will. But I also just want to. You know how a few weeks ago, this is follow up. You know, a few weeks ago we talked about how people are making AI images of Taylor Swift, like just fucking getting it on all holes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a newer and more disturbing and even more niche Taylor Swift AI image craze, right? Taylor Swift supporting Donald Trump. There's so much of it. They're so sick of hearing her not support Donald Trump that they're just making fake ones and just hoping some little 13-year-old girl goes, oh, I guess Trump is good.
The problem is it is probably working.
Yeah, but it's working for people that can't vote, so I don't see what
I guarantee it's also working for people who can.
Pregnant Sonic.
Just don't.
We're losing Dan for a bit now.
Well, anyway, watch The Boys.
What? What is this? Oh, I've got one that shows who he got pregnant by. You want to guess? We've talked about him already on this show.
Googling.
And it's not Joe Rogan.
No.
It's Mario.
But yeah, it's a. I don't understand it. I don't know what it's
Here's
about.
one where Tails is pregnant and Sonic is the dad. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's heaps of that.
There's just a lot of it, and I don't know why.
You can buy a vinyl sticker that's Sonic pregnant in a dress, and it says, "There's nothing wrong with me." Okay. All right. Coming soon to the Multiple Nerdgasm store.
Wow, look, I don't know what to... I got to take this off my screen.
Watch The Boys. I want to know, has Luke watched any more of The Acolyte?
I've still only seen up to season 3. Episode 3.
Episode 3. All right.
I don't think it's getting to season 3.
I don't know, man, because everyone's watching it. Even these people who hate it are watching it every week. And I know they are, because every week they're even more angry.
So much drama. So this week's drama
is...
is I guess it's a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler because I haven't watched the show.
Fuck it.
I just
I'm
know about
spoiling
this.
the shit out of this show.
This week's anger is aimed at Ki-Adi-Mundi.
No, wait, let me take that again. You didn't spoil it. Dave Filoni spoiled it.
Ki-Adi-Mundi is a Jedi
Yes.
that this article claims is...
From the prequels.
It claims that nobody knew or cared who he was until now, which is not
Well, I mean, that's
Not true.
like, I knew who he was, and
you could play as
I'm
him
not
in
that
the
into
Phantom Menace
the Star Wars
Lego.
prequels.
So, you know.
he was known, right? He's been plenty of stuff. So I think they're underplaying his significance a little bit. But people are angry in particular because already it's like paper cuts on top of paper cuts, I suppose. So they already think Disney don't give a fuck about Star Wars. They already think
At
things
best,
in the
don't give a
Acolyte.
fuck. At worst, are trying to sabotage it.
Right, and then they already are annoyed at things in the Acolyte, and then now this happens. Ki-Adi-Mundi's in it. He is not supposed to have been born yet at the time this show takes place.
In fact,
right?
we said last week, oh, thank God, no known characters can be in this, with the exception maybe of Yoda.
And not only is he in it, he just looks slightly younger. So it's just... I mean...
Why do you have to have a character from... I thought the whole idea of going back was... You can tell your
But
own
also,
story.
there's a
if
second
you're saying
issue.
Ki-Adi-Mundi
Yes.
is a throwaway character that nobody knows, what's the point in making that character him, right? Clearly, you chose him because you do know that
Right.
people know who
well,
he
I
is.
think, well, the thing is that people are saying that, like, did they choose him on purpose? Because there's a second reason why having him in it is annoying to people. It's because in The Phantom Menace, the film that he first appeared in, he says...
I've heard of it.
When they're talking about the fact that Qui-Gon fights Darth Maul, and he says, I think that guy's a Sith to the Jedi Council. And Ki-Adi-Mundi says, a Sith? Sith have been extinct for millennia, right? Except now he's appearing in this show that, in theory, has a Sith in it. We don't know. People
It's
say
not
maybe it's not a
confirmed
Sith,
yet.
maybe it is. But it's still like, I mean, come on, you picked him. Like, did they do this on purpose to piss everybody off?
Now, the reason
to
why...
stoke this kind of controversy?
I don't think it is. I think you're going to find that their whole thing is going to be you're not fighting the Sith; they're just bad Force users. Because remember the whole in the show.
They know who he is. They know what he said in that movie.
No. What I'm saying is in the show, spoilers. The whole idea about the Acolyte and the evil bad guys is they're not using lightsabers, so there's no red lightsaber. The whole thing is killing without weapons.
But the bad guy does have a lightsaber. He has a red lightsaber. And he has a mask on, and he looks like fucking Kylo Ren with teeth on his mask.
I haven't seen that. Because that's probably in episode 4. Up to season, you don't see who the bad guy is.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, look, I don't think it's a case of them trying to sabotage it themselves. I think it's a case
Not
of...
sabotage it. I think, but like...
I think they're confused.
People are saying that.
Provoke...
God, there is.
Provoke a reaction, right? Because you're right. It may turn out that, like... At the end of this show, we're only 4 episodes in. I assume there's like 8. By the end of it, maybe we'll be like, oh, okay, it didn't really matter. But they still must have known this was going to be...
Look,
like,
with the... Like,
a weird
hopefully
thing for
with
them to do.
there's been no Jedi Sith from millennia. Hopefully that's... They have to know that. With the age thing, I think that's the confusion with them
They
getting
just
rid
didn't
of canon.
realise.
Like, canon is now very confused.
But canon is supposed to be anything that was in a movie.
But
No,
is
he was
canon.
in the movie, but the age of his species
Didn't get mentioned in the movie. Yeah,
is now in the legends.
True. Actually, yeah,
but
you're
it's-
right. We can't take that
you're
as
right,
a given.
but it is still known, right? They know, and they have access to look up how old is he supposed to be.
But no, the thing is, in the movies, how old is he supposed to be?
Doesn't matter. No. I'm not saying
Looks about 40.
I'm saying that they can say what you're saying. Yes.
Yes.
But they know, right? Like you're saying but they never said it in the movie. Yeah, but you know it was said elsewhere, right? So do they.
But that
fucking
said
dumb.
elsewhere isn't a thing anymore.
Doesn't matter. They still know. It's on Wikipedia. In fact, one of the most controversial things that happened this week was that immediately after the show aired, people started having a fit about it online. Wikipedia changed the article about Ki-Adi-Mundi to say his actual birthday that they used to have in there, the previous actual birthday, was removed and replaced with sometime before this.
Yes.
And now it's a whole big thing because apparently the people at Wikipedia started getting death threats, which is wild. And then they started saying, this guy, I forget his real name, Star Wars Theory on YouTube. He's like one of the biggest Star Wars channels. They said on Twitter, he told his fans to send us death threats. And then he made a video earlier today saying, I fucking never said that. In fact, I've always told people to be respectful. If you say anything like that again, I will sue you. So now it's like this whole thing is just like gotten way out of hand.
So I feel sorry for the people at Wikipedia because they've got such a hard thing because there's so much that...
I agree. It's just not their fault.
What they would have had up there would have been what was in the
you
what
just
used
get
to be
the
canon.
Annuals when they come out and you go, oh, okay, it says here that such
and
and
now
such
Disney are now
called this.
changing it
to document the story of Star Wars as it is known in canon. It's not their fault. But again, I just think but the fans knew how old Ki-Adi-Mundi was supposed to be.
Yes.
Filoni must have also known that. And if he didn't know that, he could have easily found out. And it's just strange to me that they chose him in particular.
But
like,
this
it
is
does
why
seem a bit suspicious.
For me, it's sort of... This is why I struggle to be a Star Wars fan now. It's because I grew up reading the extended universe, and then that was wiped away, and now I don't know what's real or what's not. And I think the problem is when there was that extended universe, there were meetings and everyone knew what was happening. All the authors knew this person's doing this person's doing that. Since Disney's taken over, I think they've lost that knowledge. That I'm not talking looking up stuff, but that people knowledge that they had of people knowing this is here, this is that, and then they'll go, but we're doing our own thing, so this is it. And whatever they don't like, they just get rid of.
Yeah, we don't care what you thought was true previously.
Yeah,
we'll do what the fuck we want.
His age,
and not only that, then people on the internet will say to you, "Fuck you, nerd."
Because his age, while it was there and known, it was in the no longer. It was in the Legends stuff now. So
yeah,
they just
I know what you're
change
saying.
it.
But but all I'm saying is they still knew that it was there in the Legends stuff, and to go and change something.
Yeah,
they
I'm
can say,
saying
we didn't change it. It was only set in Legends. Like, yeah, but you fucking knew it was in there.
No, I'm not even saying that they went and changed it. I'm saying that the people that
you think they just didn't know.
Didn't know. I'm saying that.
Yeah, that's possible.
That the people that they've got there don't have that knowledge.
This could be a coincidence. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Maybe.
Because
that makes more sense.
They used to have a George Lucas to go, well, make it someone else.
George Lucas would come in and go, no, I want you to change this whole storyline to not be that. I want it to be this. Even in the books.
And we used to laugh about how fucking pedantic he was about weird things.
The same people who were like, George Lucas raped my childhood are now online going, bring back George.
But yeah, look, I don't think
it's tough.
They didn't make a decision to change it. They just didn't realise.
Imagine if Star Wars was just a group of 3 cool movies we remember from when we were kids.
There's a simpler time.
4, Rogue One's pretty good.
Yeah, but it wasn't from when we were kids, though.
The thing, I got to watch this show. I will watch it.
I think you should.
I feel like it's silly. I'm not arguing.
I want to watch this even less than I wanted to watch Ahsoka. I didn't want to watch that.
The reason I want to watch it is because, yes, I'm hearing these things and I go, that does seem a bit shit. But, and then people are also saying the show is just in general shit as well. But, is it? I've liked stuff that other people didn't like. Maybe this stuff will annoy me, but maybe I'll still like the show. I don't know.
As I said,
please do, Matt. Please do, because you might be the only person without an agenda watching this show right now. So I would be very interested. If you come in next week and go, actually, guys, I wrote it, the acting's good, the writing's good, you have to kind of let go of what you thought you knew about some things, but actually, it's all in all,
because I didn't like the Obi-Wan show.
But I don't think you will.
These people complaining, the particular people that I've seen, like this Star Wars Theory guy, they liked Ahsoka, they liked the Obi-Wan show, and I didn't like those.
No, I didn't like Obi-Wan.
But I think like some of the people that have been complaining, like that there are lesbians in it. There are a couple of witches. Like, what are you complaining about?
I don't care about that.
Yeah,
All I care
witches
about is
scissor each other. That's just a fact.
That's fact.
what the only reason that would bother me is if it just is there for no reason, and like that
Scissoring.
weird out of place kiss in Rise of Skywalker, right? That didn't bother me, but I can see how
I
you
actually
could
didn't
be
even
bothered by
notice that until everyone started telling me. I'm like,
No.
did I see that? I don't know.
But like I can see how you'd go, yeah, maybe. I guess that is a little odd. To
Yeah,
be
but
there.
I mean, there's a scene in the second one where a brother and sister kiss. That
Yeah.
didn't bother anyone.
But no, look. From what I'm not saying it's a great show, but from what people are complaining about, I'm not seeing what they're complaining about.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Look, I watched The Mandalorian when it came out, and I went, oh, Star Wars can still be relevant. It can still be for adults. It can still be what I want it to be.
And then what did they do?
Even it changed into the Dave Filoni show. And then I watched Book of Boba Fett, and I forced myself to watch every episode of that, even though I
Same.
hated it, because I
regret
thought, no, this is Star Wars, and I have to have seen all the Star Warses. And I've just since given myself permission to just like the ones I like and not
Boba
like
Fett
the ones
is
I don't
literally
like.
the show that made me go, you won't like all this.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
not
to be
for
selective.
me.
I still remember the chase scene.
I
Just
hate
remember
that
that
one
really,
before that chase
really,
scene, but
really slow chase scene.
Yeah, I was like, what chase?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Robert Rodriguez
the
directed
mods.
that. What the fuck? I love Robert Rodriguez.
No, he hasn't made a good movie for decades, and
I like The
he was
Leader.
always.
I like the leader.
Oh, yeah, he did a leader Battle Angel. I liked that.
Yep.
That was fine.
We're getting
Yeah,
a sequel.
That's fair. We are, hopefully.
We are.
Yeah.
Did mention.
Whereas
Luke's
Salazar
making
will
it.
do it.
I'll make it. Put me in
I've got a
charge of
show-
Star Wars, I'll fix it.
I don't even know if I want it fixed now.
I know how to
I think
fix it.
I want it to go away.
I'll make some of it go away.
I think the problem
Threat.
is that they're going to make lots of it, and it's just not going to be for everybody. It can't be. It's not possible
That's
these
fine.
days.
That's fine. Just make it clear what is and what isn't.
Because
you
even
know?
Andor, right? I think Andor's the best Star Wars
Yeah.
thing in a long time. We've talked about this ad
Yeah.
nauseum, right? And I get it. And I don't personally think Andor is. I wouldn't describe it as just fucking bunch of white people, right? The stereotype that people would say the guys.
I mean,
hating
South
their
American
show
guy in the
are,
lead role
right?
for starters.
Like I think Rogue One had diverse cast. It had interesting stories. It wasn't just about Luke Skywalker, the white hero,
Whites
rescuing
in
all the whatever.
space.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was that. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think it was a good show. It was well written, and it had some of these themes that we're talking about that are bothering people, but they were just part of the story. It's because they weren't the story. They were just a thing
Yes.
in the story. I think that's where.
Yeah, and there was some
It
dumb
falls
bits
down.
in it and some cheesy bits too. Like, it wasn't all just like wall to wall dark serious stuff. There was that mechanic woman that's slept with Wampers or whatever, but who was cracking jokes left, right, and center.
Was that
but-
in Andor or was that in Mandalorian?
That was it. Oh, was
Was
it Mandalorian?
Was she in?
The
Maybe she
mechanic
was.
of
It's all
Mandalorian.
mixed. Oh, was that Mandalorian? Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's
that's
when
when that
Mandalorian
started to
got
get
shit.
shit.
Yeah, that's what
And I didn't even see all of the third season because I watched the first episode of the third season and I went, oh, you've left me behind. This is not fucking Werner Herzog going, use the puppet, you coward.
Yeah. I wept when I saw it.
I got his book.
What a guy.
I was at the airport and I saw this.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I've got to read that. So this is about... Actually, there's a setup. The first chapter is a preface. Matt, your camera's
Is your
frozen,
camera still
just
working?
Oh
FYI.
boy, yeah, that looks odd, doesn't it? No, that's just how I look now.
You're whistling right now. I'll tell the story while that
Yeah, let me
hopefully
see if I can
writes
fix
it.
that.
The prologue in this is Werner Herzog went to Japan, was just hanging out there, and he's a very famous man, so people knew he was there, and people were, important people were meeting him and stuff like this. And it's at one point he's at dinner, and his fixer or whoever it was that it was showing him around said, "The Emperor would like to meet you, the Emperor of Japan.
Oh.
Sweet.
And Werner Herzog said, what would I talk to him about? I'm not interested. Tell him no. And everyone around, all the Japanese people around the table were like, are you fucking serious? And then one of them said, are there any Japanese people you do want to meet? Like, if the Emperor doesn't make your cut? And he went, yeah. That guy who didn't surrender at the end of World War II and lived in the jungle for 30 years? Is he still alive? And they went, yes. And he went,
I'll meet him, thanks.
I want to meet him. He said, and the next day, they were like, we're going to take you to see him. So he met him and he wrote this book about him.
That's what it's about? Fuck, all right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the story of him meeting him. It's the story of him living in the jungle.
Yeah.
For 30 years.
He didn't know the war was over.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Did he
in,
not
in
know,
the Philippines.
or did he refuse to accept
No, he knew. People told him, but he was like, I was specifically told because on the day they were retreating from the Philippines, his commanding officer said, I need one small squad to stay behind. We're getting our asses kicked and we're pulling out. But I need you guys, like, if the Americans look like they're going to take this air base or whatever it is, blow it up. Don't let anyone have it, like death or glory. And don't surrender under any cost unless I am personally here telling you it's okay to surrender. And he went, got it. And then over the years, his crew slowly dwindled down from, the dozen or so he was with to just him.
Yeah, right.
Because everyone went, I'm going to go home.
No. They were all killed in the jungle.
Oh, they just all...
They all were doing it. It's just that he was the last one left. And they were picked specifically because they were trained at survival and like it wasn't just a
Apparently they weren't very good though.
Not all of them.
He was
fucking exceptional,
he was the
mate.
best of the best.
It was the only Japanese person Werner Herzog deemed worthy of meeting.
That's a goal to be worthy of Werner.
All right, let's talk about something fun. You got sad
Chinese sex bots?
Star
No,
Wars.
that sounds like after party talk.
I want to hear more about Alan Wake.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay. I've been playing Alan Wake 2 a little bit. I haven't had a huge amount of time, but I'm still really enjoying it. And I messaged you guys because something happened in it, and I was like, I think I know what's going on, and I wanted to make sure that
this interested me too.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wasn't shooting myself in the foot with this. So I was playing Alan Wake 2. I got to the first sequence where you're out in the dark world, or the dark place, walking around. Did a few things, not very far in it. I get into an area and there's a TV there and it says, you've discovered an episode of Night Springs. You can check it out now, or you can go to the menu and check it out. And I was thinking, if it's like the first game,
You're just going to watch.
I'll just watch a little thing and then I'll continue on. That's fine. So I was like, yeah, no, I'll just do it now.
And they're not very detailed in the first game either.
No, it's just like a little, 2-minute
teaser.
maximum little video. So I was like, I'll just do it
why
now.
wouldn't you watch it?
That triggered what I realised pretty quickly was one of the first of the DLCs, where you play as Rose, the waitress. And I was like, oh. And you can't, as far as I can tell, back out of it at that point.
Can't just...
No.
Doesn't seem to be a way to say, no.
I don't see how you
I'll
could.
be Alan again now, thanks.
Yeah.
So that's why I texted you guys and just said, hey, is this going to be a problem? Like, because I haven't finished the game yet. Am I going to ruin anything? She's got guns that I've not had in the game yet.
Sorry.
So, that's right.
It's baby monitor.
I was, for a minute there, I was like, what is happening? Yeah, so she's got weapons that I don't have yet. Wanted to make sure I'm not going to ruin the game for myself, but apparently not. And
The only thing, and you're definitely not going to ruin the game for yourself because it is completely. It's a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's not part of the game. It is an episode of Night Springs, but there are jokes in it you might not fully get if you haven't played the
I
whole
wondered that too, because one thing in particular is that in this, obviously, Rose is very, very obsessed with Alan. That's not a thing that's been come up at all in the first game.
That does come up.
It does.
That does. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so that's
Well,
I mean,
the first one, she was.
just a waitress.
she was.
Oh no,
no,
she
no,
had
no,
the
insane.
cutout. She had
She
the
had the
cutout.
cutout. She was super excited that Alan was there.
Yeah,
She's
but
always
she
been
wasn't
a.
like a psycho
Not as-
obsessed fan like she's in this, and like
Yeah, to
Yeah.
masturbate over Alan, press X repeatedly.
yeah. So I mean, I guess again, not a big problem, but I was just like, oh, I guess that's probably something that's going to come up later. Small.
So yeah, maybe
small
when you
point,
come up on the second one, just maybe
Yeah,
go, I'll play it later.
well, yeah.
But you actually know more of the game now than I do.
But the problem
Well,
is,
actually,
but they obviously
the second-
intended for it to be there. Like they put it there.
no, but what I don't understand is that it takes place. There's nothing that's a spoiler except that it takes place in a location you haven't been to yet, and I would be concerned because the next DLC also it is in a very specific place in the game. The third one is not; it's in a totally new place. But the second one, if you started watching that before you'd gotten up to that part of the game, it might just be a bit weird. It wouldn't spoil
Sure.
it, but it just might be a bit weird.
Well, 'cause-
because when I
yeah.
played them, I went, "Oh, I'm back here, but I'm a different person now."
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a
Or with Rose, I'm in this location that I know from the game, but she's imagining it's his house.
yeah. So
when
Look,
it's
I don't
very
think that'll.
clearly.
I don't think that'll change anything, honestly.
It wouldn't change anything. That's what I mean. But
Yeah.
it's odd because you just don't
You're gonna
know.
see a
You're just
location.
gonna
She's imagining the
experience it
place
first.
that she
You're gonna
works
see
is
the
his
pl-
house.
the place in that.
You're gonna get the
like kind of
punchline before the
satire
joke.
situation almost before you
Yes.
see it in the
Yeah,
real
but-
situation.
Yeah, and I think that's just it's a different way to experience. Which
You wouldn't have known if
Yeah.
you had just played it through. It's just another non sequitur in a game full of non sequiturs. So I
Yeah.
think it's probably okay.
yeah,
But again, I was like, I mean, they put it there,
yeah,
knowing
Yes.
that
And they put it
I
where
potentially
they thought it was meant to
exactly
be.
right.
Yeah.
They would know that surely they knew someone playing the game for the first time is going to encounter this,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I would hope that they.
I mean, they had to
about that.
go back and sneak it in. They could have just kept it something that was only in the menu, but they said, no, we'll put it in the game. Where should it go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, interesting.
No, I
Trust
say
Sam,
stick with it.
Anyway, yeah, I'm loving it. The DLC is very funny. I've laughed out loud several times.
What was that line that you quoted
Oh,
at us that
hello?
he says from the house?
hello, is anybody there? I'm a helpless rider and I need some aid. Helpless rider or frail? I'm just a frail
rider and I need some aid.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
funny.
And this is after she fills up everyone's cup with coffee, and they're like, "You are the best waitress ever."
Yes, and then she meets Alan's evil twin brother, and she said, and he's like, "What are you gonna do?" And she's like, "Well, I've got the shotgun." And he's like, "Yeah, wait, is that a real shotgun?" I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
I am
like,
gonna
I'm
watch
sorry
it,
that I'm just like a badass version of my brother, and I just wear cooler clothes, but I just don't have his talent as a writer.
Yeah, it's very funny.
All right, I need to do it. I need to sit down and
What
do
did
it.
Alan ever do to you? Are you serious? I just explained this to you like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Have you finished that level? You finished the Rose thing or not quite?
No, I've gotten to. There's a thing where you go into a little cabin and then you go out, and then I'm approaching a larger building. I'm assuming that might be the place that you're referring
Yeah.
to. So I'm going to.
How long are the episodes?
It seems like it's not that long.
Not that long.
Didn't think so.
Not that long. The second one's, I mean, the first one, the Rose one, is pretty interesting because it's just like a high intensity section of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one is like
Stakes
a low
are pretty low in
intensity
it,
section of the game. Yeah, stakes are low. The second one though, it's more of a fetch quest
Okay.
with less enemies and more back and forth.
I'll say this: the
looking for
tone
stuff.
of the first DLC is a nice palate cleanser because the Alan in the Dark Place can be like it's good, but it is very like unnerving and kind of intense. Whereas
Yeah.
where this Rose DLC is not.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah. It's just fucking
Silly.
blasting shit. Like, you've got ammo appears to be no concern.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, if it's her imagination, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So,
True. Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
good
But I
stuff.
love it. She starts off in that pink dress, and then by the time you get to the house, it's just covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like, it's very cool.
Yeah. It's funny. But there's also a photo mode, I see.
Yeah, so they released, they said a new announcement, new feature coming today, and I was like, oh, what is it?
And
Photo
then
mode.
photo
So
mode,
you can
yeah.
you can take a picture and then you can edit it,
Okay.
make it black
Which,
and white.
I don't know, people can do some amazing things with photo mode in games, but I don't care.
I'll admit, I was playing mostly as Saga and stopped occasionally just to look at the screen. Like, I'm standing on
It's
a
a very
cliff next to
beautiful
that
game.
lake, you know.
I
It's not a lake, it's
was
an
actually
ocean. You don't
playing
need to
this
write
in. It's got two modes, much like Cyberpunk, where you can put it in performance, which is 60 frames, and then you can put it in, looks better mode. And this game lends itself better to looking good. It's not a
always pick look
high-paced
better.
game, generally
Oh,
speaking.
I had it in performance mode, but
Oh, did you?
Well, then you should go
probably
back and
didn't
do
need
it
to.
with look good if you thought it.
I mean,
looks good.
so far anyway.
Maybe I
it's
did.
not very
Maybe I
like.
didn't even realise.
The Rose DLC is an exception, but so far the rest of the game, the combat in it is not fast paced and frantic. It's like
Yes,
it's more like
yeah.
Resident
Yeah,
Evil,
yeah,
where
yeah.
you've got very little ammo
Yes.
and you have to
Yeah.
be fucking careful.
Yes.
You better hope you don't run into anything that you need to shoot.
Exactly. Yeah. You're best to just avoid combat where possible.
Fuck, that Resident Evil 2 remake was good. Have we talked about that?
I think we talked about it a
We
little
did a while ago. I still have yet to play it.
bit. I got right to the
I-
end.
Fucking, it is. Yeah, I haven't finished it yet either. But it is. Does what every remake should do, which is it's as good now as the first one was when it came out.
Yeah.
Like when Resident Evil 2 came out, you were like, games can't get better than this. It'll never look better and it'll never play better. But it still had the fucking annoying tank controls, and it was still actually very
No, this plays really
polygonal.
well. That fucking
this
guy,
is
whatever his name, Agent
beautiful.
whatever, the big dude in the fucking coat and the hat, you know what I mean, in the remake? I think it's fucking terrifying. Like, every time I hear his
Yes.
footsteps, I'm like,
Yeah.
the
When you're
nemesis
playing as
looking
her.
dude. What's that?
Yeah. When you're playing as you switch characters,
Yeah.
and she's trying to get into the or maybe
I
you
didn't know
played
you
it
could switch
differently. Maybe there's a
characters.
different way to do it.
Actually,
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
switches
it-
automatically.
No, you can play the game as either character.
Yeah, I've been playing as...
Yeah. But I'm
And
playing
then
as the
you-
dude, and then
Yeah,
I
and then
rescue the
Chris
chick,
goes-
and then suddenly it goes, now you're the chick. Maybe it's how you play it, but I encountered that guy you're talking about when I was the chick.
I've never played... I've played as... what's her name? The spy, the FBI girl. Is that who you mean?
Yeah, that's who you switch to.
Yeah, but I encountered...
That's when I encountered that
guy.
fucking freaky guy.
I encountered him first, before that. Interesting. I wonder if there's
I
something...
think it's how you play it.
Maybe
Yeah,
it is.
it must
That's
be.
interesting. Okay.
I'll say this though, by the time you get up to that or not, the police station is the best part of that game.
Oh, sure.
Like, you're in there for so long. That could have been the entire game. And they didn't do anything as good as that until number 7 again, when you were in that fucking Hicks house.
Yeah.
And for just the entire game, you're in that house. Things are trying to get you. You can't get into certain rooms yet.
Did you play Village?
Just fucking try to survive. Yeah.
Ugh,
yeah.
Village is
So
so
good.
good.
I don't know. I think I struggled with Village. I thought
I thought 7 was better than Village
Really?
because I liked
Interesting.
the claustrophobia of it, but
Yeah.
Village was much more imaginative and had
Yeah.
all the fucking crazy shit and the
bit more
fucking
fantasy
baby
and-
parts and
Yeah, that was... Yeah. Yeah, but with like the vampire stuff and the fantasy and
Yeah.
stuff, it was cool.
yeah, I loved it. Second best, but I loved 7. 7 was what made me go, oh, maybe I do like Resident Evil still.
7
because
was...
it's not Resident Evil.
That sequence in 7 where it's the old woman with the lamp, that whole series, that whole sequence was just so fucking scary. Like, just slow
Mate,
and
I'm fucking
like,
crawling under
creepy.
the floorboards of a house because there's fucking zombie Hicks above me.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been more scared in my life.
That was a good game, I gotta say. Yeah.
Of course, 7 has an evil fetus. Oh, 8, rather, has the evil fetus. Village has an evil fetus.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. Yeah. fuck me, when I just hid in the closet in the game and just
Yes.
paused the game and
Just shook.
sat there for a minute. And I was like,
Yeah. When that thing
Right.
comes out,
yeah.
you're like, fuck no.
I literally I
What is
got in the
this?
closet in the game, put the controller down, and went and got a drink. And I was like, fucking hell.
I need a moment.
So
Yeah.
good. So good.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
I might give it another try. I didn't get that far into it. I was into sort of got there. I was in the village at the start and got stuck there and played other stuff.
Games can scare you like no movie can. Like, there's very few movies that I watch and go, I was genuinely scared in
yeah,
that movie.
like you do. I
Very
do
few.
get freaked out, but it's different. Like,
Outlast,
Outlast?
I got to the first jump scare and just uninstalled the game.
oh,
And
I
went,
know that.
This is not for me.
I never played that, but yeah, I know what it is.
No, I
Yeah.
don't know that one.
Yeah, it was.
But like the Amnesia, that series,
Oh, yeah.
like fucking terrifying.
Yeah, those were good.
Um,
Those were good because you
Back in
couldn't
the
find
day-
anything.
well, even the first Resident Evil was fucking terrifying.
Back in the day.
And it had very few enemies, but it was just like you were just in the dark, and then suddenly you'd come around a corner and something would be there.
and then
Silent
you'd have
Hill
the
2.
voice acting.
Silent Hill 2 was
Yes, well,
terrifying.
I don't think that was that bad.
Oh, it
Silent
was
Hill,
bad.
Silent Hill, fuck me.
Actually,
Even Silent
first
Hill
one
1
as well, but second one is particularly interesting. Did we talk
And
about
then you
this?
hear the siren.
We talked about this controversy with the new movie or show.
No, the remake of the game, right?
Yeah, I can't remember which was the controversy. Yeah, it was the remake of the game. The movie looked
There's
alright.
always a controversy.
The movie looks all right. Because Christoph Gans is back doing Silent Hill 2, which is actually an adaptation of the game. Did we talk about that?
Oh, right. Yes. No, we didn't talk about it.
So that's...
And
been
listeners, if you
filmed.
don't know who Christoph Gans is, you need to get yourself a DVD of a little movie called Brotherhood of the Wolf,
It's a great
which is one of the
movie.
best fucking French action movies ever made.
On a recent rewatch, it is much camper than I remember.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
very good, but it is...
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since the year 2000.
Oh,
when
I mean, it's a great movie, but it's it's a little more. It's about the Beast of Gavarin.
yes,
which,
who did he also, or am I just lumping these in my mind together? Did he do Dog Soldiers?
No,
As well.
No. Didn't Danny
Who
Boyd
did
do
that one?
Dog Soldiers? Or am I making that up?
Oh, it was Neil Marshall.
Neil
Who's
Marshall.
Neil Marshall?
Oh yeah, he did The Descent. That's who.
Oh yes, yeah, Descent.
Yeah. I am getting
Oh,
people
yeah.
mixed up. Man, The Descent is a fucking terrifying movie
That's a great movie
because it
That is a
starts
great
off
movie.
about this group of women who go caving, and it's claustrophobic and terrifying because they get stuck and the caves are collapsing and that kind of stuff. And then there's fucking scary monsters.
Yeah, then it turns into a horror.
Like
Yeah,
that movie's
The
fucking
Descent is
intense.
genuinely scary for sure. Yeah,
Because by the time it got to the monsters, I'd forgotten that there were going to be monsters, and I was just like, "Oh fuck!" Like,
yeah, you just like, oh, these girls gotta get out of this fucking cave.
yeah,
Which is terrifying enough. Yes, no, I'm not in. I'm not in for that.
it's very, very intense. Good movie.
Did you ever play what was
Don't
that
watch the
Clive Barker game for PC that
Oh,
came out
Undying.
in the late 90s? Undying.
Yeah,
That was scary.
that was
Because you
scary
had this-
at the beginning. It got a bit.
Yeah.
It
It just
got a
became
bit
shooty.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the beginning in
but
the house.
that first time, when you're first in the house and you're just exploring, and then you just hear that voice telling you to look behind you, and you have to use your like ghost vision to like perceive everything in the room. Fucking creepy.
yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't maintain the tone, or maybe
Yeah.
they just
Mm.
were like, it's also got to be.
Oh, by the end, it's just like, now I'm
It's
just trying
just
to
a shooter.
fight this dude.
Yeah.
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 But the beginning of it was very intense, very, very.
I had a boxed copy of that
atmospheric.
at the time.
Oh, when games used to come in boxes.
We
I miss those boxes.
we were just talking about things that are a bit
I
scary.
still come in boxes sometimes.
We've been reading this book, Lyra and I and Jenna to Lyra. Do you know The Skull? It's a book called The Skull by John Klassen. Do you know this?
Oh, I love John
No.
Klassen.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got so many of his books.
Okay.
Give me my fucking hat back, etc.
Okay, so this book is called The Skull, and it's about a little girl. It's an old folktale that he adapted. It's about a little girl
Okay.
called Ottila, who runs away into the forest, finds a house, and there's a skull in there. And what?
It's creepy as fuck, dude.
And so she becomes friends with the skull.
this.
And then the skull says, you can stay here if you want, but you should know every night there's a headless skeleton that comes to try and get me. And the girl goes, oh, well, all right. And then so she helps him, and then she pushes the skeleton off the roof and then like smashes the bones up and burns him and throws him in this pit. And then, but anyway, there's a lot of themes in this that Lyra is like asks questions.
Oh, fuck,
about.
I bet there is, mate.
So even the very first page.
This is very PG, isn't it?
Even at the very first page now, the first page is one night, in the middle of the night, Attila finally ran away. And then immediately now, Lyra's like, why did Attila
Run away from fucking
Why
what?
did Attila run
The
away?
skeleton house is a better place for her.
She goes, why did Attila run away? And I'm like, I'm not sure. She wasn't happy.
Sexual abuse,
No.
clearly.
Don't know. She just wasn't
They
happy.
never say
and then
something horrible.
with the little kid thing, yeah, but why? And then the biggest one in there is Attila. She lures the headless skeleton upstairs and then pushes it off the building. And she's like, why did Attila do that? I'm like, well, because the skeleton was trying to get the skull. And she goes, yeah, but that's not very nice. And I'm like, that's true.
Why was violence the only
So why
answer?
did she do it? I'm like, because she wanted to save the skull. Yeah, but why?
But I want to know, like, why? Like, because isn't the
Also,
head...
isn't the body entitled to put its head back on?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
This reminds me of
I think after the
Sir
first few times
Gawain
of
and the
reading
Green
it-
Knight. This happens. He goes to a house and he sees this headless ghost, and it keeps going to the river, and then he goes down and it finds out there was a woman murdered there, and their heads in the pond, and it's very grim.
Well, I think she's starting to piece together that the skull and the skeleton go together because,
But why doesn't the head want to go back on its body? Is my question.
because it's a whole thing where there's again. First of all, it's a folktale,
Matt,
But
yes, yeah.
but it's a theme because Attila runs away. She comes to this house. She knocks on the door. The skull's there, and the skull says, "I'll let you in, but you have to carry me around because I'm a skull." And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine." They become friends, and actually, yeah. And there's a bunch of really funny, cool scenes and stuff. And then they go up on the roof, and the skull says, "Oh, you said you ran away," and she said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you want to talk about it?" And she says, "No." And he goes, "Okay, but you don't want them to find you." And she says, "No, I don't." And he's like, "All right." And then later on, he says, "This skeleton's going to come." And then she goes, "You don't want the skeleton to find you?" And he goes, "No, I don't." And she goes, "Okay." So it's kind of like this agreement that they have.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then at the end, they live at the house together. Because the skull doesn't know that she smashed
And
up
he
the
doesn't have
bones
his
and
body
burned-
that he doesn't
and,
like.
well, he goes
She
the
doesn't
next
have her
morning.
sexually abusive
So she
parents.
pushes him off the roof and then puts the skull in bed. And then the skull goes, "Are you going to go to bed?" And she goes, "Oh, I got to take care of something." And she goes and smashes up the bones and burns them and throws them into this pit. And then the next morning,
The
they're
John
having
Klassen
breakfast.
books I have are not like this.
The next morning,
There's a whale who gets his hat stolen by a little fish, and the little fish thinks he can get away with it, and the whale comes after him. But I mean, you don't see any fucking brutal killings.
Well, in the morning, they're having breakfast, and the skull goes, "Hope that skeleton doesn't come back again." And then she goes,
And she's like, he won't.
She goes, "He won't."
How do you know?
How shitty
I
was
just
this
know.
skeleton to begin with? The skull can't run away until she gets there.
Yeah.
It needs someone to fucking hold him up,
he
mate.
says that. He says he's not as fast as he used to. My favourite pages in the book is with this one where he goes, "Oh, this is the fireplace room. I make a fire and drink tea in here." And she goes, "Oh, you can make tea?" He goes, "Well, no, not anymore." And she goes, "Oh, okay, but you can light the fire?" "No."
No.
And she goes, "Oh,
Funny.
is that you in the painting?" "Yeah, used to be." It's like, I don't know, it's good.
It does sound good, but
I think you're getting a lot of the "but why" questions from us as well.
I don't have. Yeah, no, I don't have the emotional bandwidth
Best
to read this to my daughter
children's
yet.
book of the year.
I almost bought a book because Mark Z. Danielewski, author of House of Leaves, has written a children's book, right? And you know he only writes books that are just really fucking weird and that, you know, you got to hold upside down or read in a mirror or whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He's written this book, the concept of which I think is quite cool. So the text is all different colours. And the idea is you read it to your kid at different ages of their life, and it gets more detailed. So if your kid is 3, you only read the red words, and it's the very basic version of the story. When your kid turns 6, you read the red and the green.
Yeah.
And then when your kid is like 15 or whatever, you read the red, the green, and the blue, or whatever it is. But
That's really interesting.
yeah, I thought that was a very cool. I heard him talking about it on a podcast, and then I looked it up, and it was like $70, and I was like, I'm not paying that for a kid's book.
Well, yeah. So anyway, Lyra describes that book as a little bit spooky, but it's her
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
her favorite.
fair. Yeah.
No, she
I've
wants-
got
she
a
wants it
book
every
about
night.
witches. It's called Who's on the Broom, right? And it's just,
It's about
by
Star
Mem
Wars, the
Fox.
Acolyte.
it's very yeah, that's right. Daddy, what's scissoring? If you want
That's how you
all
make
the scissoring,
Force-sensitive twins. Scissoring.
there's no twins. Oh no, there are twins.
No, there are
just
twins.
just not the twins we know of.
Because there's always going to be twins.
It's always fucking. There's always 2.
Speaking
That's
of
not
fucking
who said
twins, the after party.
that. Yeah, twin action.
I guess we shouldn't promise that.
No, but I do have something about siblings
All right.
fucking that I do want to talk about in the after party. So, listeners, if you want to know what that is, it also involves Joe Rogan. So
Good
tune
Lord.
in by going to patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm, or just go to multiplenerdgasm.com and following the links
Click
Yeah,
links.
it says support on Patreon.
to the support page.
Yes.
And for as little as $5 a month, you can join us every week in the after party.
Yes. And if you just want to join
That's
the,
only
join
$1
the club,
something per after party.
you can sign up for free and you'll get the episodes in video and audio format delivered
Yeah,
to
you just
you
be part
every
of the
week.
gang.
And if you want to pay $1 a month, you get them a bit early and you get some little bonus stuff
Little
from time
sneak
to time.
peek. Whenever there is stuff.
And a hug
I'll see you
from
over
me.
there. No,
Hug from Luke.
we won't promise that.
I'm promising it. You find me, I'll hug you. Or you
That's
hug me.
reverse consent.
And if he finds you, he's going to do something worse.
Yeah.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.